Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Berks County. I am the Reverend John Cullinan, your minister here. I use he, him pronouns. I'm so glad you could be with us this morning. As Unitarian Universalists, we come together not with a list of required beliefs, but with a set of shared values centered on an unconditional, unshakable love. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are at this moment, here with us in the sanctuary or watching from home, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome to be a part of this community. As we're gathering, I want to extend a special welcome to anyone who is visiting us for the first time or the second time or the third time this morning. You are here for an out-of-the-ordinary Sunday. We have been in a year-long process of creating a congregational covenant together, and today we're going to be gathering people's thoughts and feedback on what should go into that. I don't want you to feel like this excludes you. You have chosen to be a part of this beloved community this morning, and what you think about this matters. So when we get around to our sharing time, please feel free to participate fully. We will be collecting everybody's feedback. If you're joining us for the first time online today, please take a moment to write your name and where you're zooming in from in the chat box. You'll find a link to our order of service this morning, our website, and you can sign up for our weekly email newsletter there. If you would like to let us know who you are, if you're coming for the first time today, in the pew somewhere and then out in the lobby, we have our brand new connection cards. You can fill out your information. Let me know if you want to meet with me. If anybody here needs a meeting with the pastor sometime during the week, go ahead and fill one out on the back too, and then just drop this in the collection basket when that comes around at the end of the service. For new families and our youngest members, we have a few options for being present in worship this morning. There is our new children's space at the front of the sanctuary where Miss Erin is there to check you in and help you out. There is a quiet nursery space just across the hallway out this door for our littlest members. If they're getting a little fussy, we have the sound piped in there as well, so you can continue to listen to the service. And of course, you're welcome to sit with your parents in the pews as well. And now let's take a moment to greet one another with a wave or a namaste or a smile. And as we're doing that, turn back to the red lights there and wave at the camera to our folks online and let them know we welcome them into this community as well.
Good morning. Sorry, I have to lower this mic for someone my size. Okay. So I'm Reverend Sage Olnick. I use she and her pronouns. I have been attending UU Berks first as a student minister in 2012 and then started as a grateful member in 2013. In addition to being a member of this congregation, I am also the affiliate community minister. And being a part of this community brings me a sense of belonging, both within this congregation and within the wider movement of Unitarian Universalism. Being a part of this community helps me to continue my best to live out our shared values, which is a lifelong process, I believe, to be accountable to right relationship and to lifelong learning, and to trust that radical love is a worthwhile act of courage. Our chalice reading this morning is inspired by the words of Sherry Woodbury and Jennifer Grayson. This is the time for you to light your chalice at home, if you have one, while we light our chalice here in the sanctuary. We come together every week, bound not by a creed or a mutual desire to please a god or many gods, or perhaps one at all. We come together around our shared values, centered in love. Love is the center and the foundation of this faith, and love is a power that holds us together as a congregation. Love is not only something that we receive, but something that we practice in community. Let us be accountable to one another for doing the work of living out our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. Drawn together by a belief that how we are in the world, who we are together, matters. As we continue to listen and to learn, to act and to grow, may each of us unfold into wholeness, both deeply loving and truly loved. We light this chalice together, trusting that love, not fear, can change the world. So let us rise in body and spirit and join in our opening hymn, Gather the Spirit, which I think is number 347. Maybe it's 346. It's our first adventure together.
346, 347, find it in there.
Gather the Spirit.
Gather the Spirit, harvest the poor, our separate fires will kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour, our trials in this light appear all the same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit of heart and mind, seeds for the sowing are laid in store, nurtured in love and conscience refined, with body and spirit united once more. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again. Gather the Spirit, growing in all, drawn by the moon and fed by the sun, winter to spring and summer to fall, the chorus of life resounding as one. So we gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then, gather in hope, compassion and strength, gather to celebrate once again.
Our reading this morning comes from the Reverend Janice Marie Johnson. Covenants are intentional. Covenants are audacious. Covenants are a promise that can change our lives together in this faith. Together, we will be stronger. Together, we will be wiser. Together, we will be gentler. We promise to recognize our uniqueness, to treasure our faith, to honor our neighbors with holiness. We covenant to be committed to each other, to consider each as significant, to consider each as valuable. We covenant to be invitational, to be accepting, to speak grace-filled truth, to forgive each other over and over again, and yes, to love. Our covenant stands firm. It is our embodiment of faith in each other. It is our blessing of each other. It is our commitment to each other. May we hold this community as a precious gift. May we hold our relationships as gifts that transcend borders. May we carry forth the intention of our covenant, the audacity of our covenant, the promise of our covenant, now and in years to come. And so here we are after weeks of talking about it. Now we're going to do something about it. And I assume you want to do something about it because we all got up this morning. We all got up early on a Sunday morning. Who does that? Got up early on a Sunday morning and came and sat down in hard wooden pews. Why do we do this together? Because we have this need to be seen and to see one another. We need to talk to one another and sing together and laugh together and breathe together and be together. To be together in a community simply to know that we are not alone. And for that community to be a beloved one, we seek to covenant together. Now, over the last several months, I've said covenant is a lot of things. It is the promises we make to one another about how we will be together. It is a statement of who we are as a people, a statement of our identity. It's instructions about how to dance with one another. But most of all, covenant is a statement of our shared, collected dream for this community. It is about our commitment to each other. It is an invitation into community to one another and to the outside world. And following on from Janice Marie Johnson, it is a list of our intentions to one another and to the world. And it is about being audacious in those promises that we make to one another and in the vision we have for who we are. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to share 3 questions for reflection. We're going to deal with them one at a time, so you don't have to hold that all in your head at once. We're going to give you some time to contemplate on your own your answers to that question and to start writing them down. We were handing out index cards to do this. If you still need some, we have them here. If you would raise your hand, and pens if you need that, we will get those passed out to you. And then we're going to take some time to turn to one another in groups of 3s or 4 and share what our thoughts about the answers to these questions are. And then we'll share a few of those ideas out loud with the whole group, the things that have shone the brightest in your groups. If you are new here today or relatively new to the congregation, as I said before, don't make this, let this make you feel like you cannot participate. We do want your thoughts in this as well. You are a part of the community as we gather today. If you're like me and sometimes you process things a little more slowly, and about 3 a.m. you're going to pop awake with an aha moment about an answer you wish you'd thought of, don't worry about it. A little later today, you're going to get an email from us with a link to a Google form and these 3 questions so you can add your additional thoughts in. And if you're watching from home, please make use of that. And if you're watching from home 3 days from now, please make use of that if you weren't able to be here in person or on Zoom Live today. We're going to leave that open for the next 2 weeks to gather everybody's additional thoughts before we start putting things together. And what's going to happen then is we're going to, by the end, have this mass of dreams and hopes and ideas and promises that we have collected today. And then our covenant team, who you will see some members of today and who I'll introduce towards the end of the service, are going to take those and distill it down to its essence and come up with, in the next several weeks, a first draft of what we think our covenant statement will be. That is what we are doing today. So, take a deep breath in. Feel yourself rooted to the earth and rooted in this room. And gather in your mind's eye an image of this Unitarian Universalist community at its best. What is this community at its best? Hold that picture and then breathe out. And let us begin this work with song.
My name is Nathan Brown, and my pronouns are he and they. Who do we want to be? It's the process of living our values, isn't it? Of deciding what is important to us and then choosing and acting in a way that is true to those values. I want to illustrate this with a brief story. That story is Episode 10, Season 1 of Star Trek, the original series, The Corbomite Maneuver. In this episode, the Starship Enterprise finds a strange cube-shaped object during their travels. The cube blocks their travel and moves to intercept the Enterprise no matter where they try to move around it. And it begins emitting intense radiation. The crew says, "We have no choice, we have to destroy it." And they obliterate this cube, and they continue their travels. Soon after, they come across a structure made of spheres, massive, nearly the size of a moon or a small planet. It sends them a message. It says, "My name is Balok. You reacted with violence when you encountered my probe. When met with something you didn't understand, you attacked it. You are an irrational and destructive people and must be eliminated." Captain Kirk protests. You've got it all wrong. Your probe emitted radiation that was harmful to us. We of Starfleet and the Galactic Federation are explorers, and we seek to encounter new life and new civilizations. We boldly go where no one has gone before. We help people when we can. Balok replies that the radiation was merely a diagnostic tool to know their ship better, and he has seen inside the ship's computers and the ship's records. He can see humanity's past, and it aligns with his first assessment more often than not. They are destructive people. I'm giving you 10 minutes to make peace with whatever gods you have before I destroy your ship. The tension mounts as Balok counts down each minute. Mr. Spock confirms Balok's technology is beyond them. They have no way to overpower him, no way to escape. But Captain Kirk has an idea. He tells Balok they have something on the ship called Corbomite. Corbomite has a property that it returns any force that acts on it back at the attacker tenfold. Surely if Balok were to destroy the Enterprise, he would be destroyed as well. It's only fair to warn him. This is a bluff on the captain's part. He made all that up. Balok says, "Hey, maybe let's talk about it." He stops counting down. The giant sphere detaches a tiny ship that begins towing the Enterprise, and he says, "Let me take you back to my planet where I'll decide what to do with you." The Enterprise doesn't put up with this. They break free of the ship's tractor beam, and they pull away. But as they are leaving, they hear a distress call. It's the little tow ship. It's been disabled. It needs their help. "Leave it, Captain. This is another trick," the crew say, but Captain Kirk decides differently. He says, "We have to be who we say we are." This is a new kind of life, and he's in trouble. We have a duty to help. Even when trust is hard, we can't let distrust stop us from being kind. So they go to the ship and they meet Balok. And he's actually just a small childlike alien played by Clint Howard. Balok says, "I'm sorry to have deceived you. I have great technology, but I'm all alone. So when I meet strangers, I try to make myself seem bigger and scarier than I am." He offers them food and drink and to trade their knowledge. In the end, the crew of the Enterprise was able to make a friend by deciding to be true to their mission, by choosing to act like the people they said they were.
So I can have the slide with the first question up here for everybody's edification. Have you got that image of us at our best? The question now is, who do we want to be as this community? We're going to give you a few minutes to think it over and start writing down. Please take out your pink index cards. The color coding is going to be important. Or if we ran out of cards and you've just got paper, everybody please write the number 1 in the corner so we can keep these answers all grouped together. We're going to give you a few minutes, and then I'm going to ring the gong, and I'm going to ask you to find 2 or 3 people to talk to in the pews about what you are writing down. We are looking for the answer to the question, who do we want to be as a community? And now turn to 2 or 3 other people near you in the pews and share with one another what you're starting to come up with. And as new ideas bubble up, feel free to write them down again. And we're going to do this for like 5 minutes. All right, friends, if we can start coming back into the larger room. I know we're having a great time talking to one another, and we can continue doing that in coffee hour later. For just a couple of minutes, I want to hear from some of you. What has burst up that needs to be said in the bigger room right now, just so we can hear some of what's going on in our little conversations here. Raise your hand, we'll bring you the microphone.
Check, check. All right. Should we introduce ourselves or no?
Sure.
Okay. I'm Jess Cullinan, and I came to the phrase that I really like, which is I would like us to be fearless in love. For this to be a place where we feel safe, but where we also feel brave.
Do I have to press anything? No. Okay. So our group came up with who do we want to be as a community? We want to be belonging, supportive, loving, pet-friendly. So maybe we could welcome pets in our service. Financially counseling. If there were, somehow we could support people with their finances. Providing for others, social groups. Providing for others who cannot make it to the service. Our older folks, maybe providing rides. Social group, pre-service snacks. Be nice to have some snacky poos before service, like donuts and coffee.
If you feed them, they will come. Yes.
Support, just saying, support around life issues, maybe support around grief, different life issues we're going through, and giving people the opportunity to act on their values. So what do we value, and how do we have an opportunity to act on that?
Ours was a force in our area for positive change, humanitarian aid, and social justice with a strong liberal bent.
Amen.
So we want to be kind, a refuge from hate. We want to be accepting of people with their struggles. We do our best to help the less fortunate, regardless of whether they are in our congregation. We leave nobody behind. Nobody is left out.
We landed on being a beacon for our principles, showing others outside of our community the way, which is like kindness, justice-seeking, generosity, and bravery, as well as being inclusive and tolerant of others.
One more.
We said a refuge, a safe haven of love and acceptance, free from negative judgment, open to new people, thoughts, and traditions, kind in deed, not only in word.
Thank you. All right, friends, if you would pass your cards down towards the center rows here, we're going to sing together. We're going to collect all of those answers.
So as we collect, we're going to sing We'll Be Known by Our Love. It's from our new hymnal resource, and the words are going to be up on the screen. When the winds. When the winds around you blow, take my hand. When the raging waters flow, I'll help you to land, and we'll go together into that great unknown, shelter for each other, compassion as a home, and we'll be known by our love. Oh, we'll be known fearful, when you're fearful, when you're blue, don't despair. When the world gives up on you, I'll still be there, and we'll go together into the great unknown, shelter for each other, compassion as our home, and we'll be known by our love. Oh, we'll be known by our love. Yes, we'll be known by our love. Oh, we'll be known by our love.
Good morning. My name is Jean Kakuza. I use she and her pronouns. Most of us come to this church in search of a spiritual community, a sanctuary where we can find comfort and support and safety, where we can belong. But what makes us feel like we belong? For me, it's when we're in a sanctuary with people who share your values. God is love, justice, peace, compassion, truth, curiosity, wonder, share our values, and who value what you share, what we share. Our time, our energy, our stories, our knowledge, our talents, our resources, our thoughts. When we feel welcomed and respected for our authentic selves, who we are deep inside, bonds develop and deepen. When we feel like we belong when we're encouraged to seek the truth without fear of judgment or ridicule. When we have a true voice and the opportunity to use that voice for spiritual growth. When we feel that the community is actually listening to our voice, when their verbal and nonverbal communication expresses empathy and understanding, when we can freely express our joys, sorrows, and concerns and expect comfort and grace, especially when we need it most, when we feel nourished emotionally and spiritually by the community we've joined, when we're with open-minded people willing to consider what's unfamiliar, what's new, what might even be ancient. We feel that we can create and think freely, without barriers, without doubt, but with souls eager to embrace a new approach, a better approach, a more equitable, more reasonable approach. When we allow ourselves to feel deeply, we become part of a greater whole. When we feel a blanket of loving kindness that warms our heart, our soul, and gives us hope, that draws us close, where we can be vulnerable. When a window opens, letting in light, when the darkness seems overwhelming, we get a glimpse of the beloved community. As we aspire to become the beloved community, as we compose our covenant, we need to listen to each other. The listening is a big part of belonging. People who actually listen and don't try to talk too fast, that actually listen to you and consider it. That's what makes us feel like we belong. Thank you.
So grab your orange cards or your next set of paper if you don't have the color code. Write a number 2 up on it somewhere. And our question is, what makes you feel like you belong? A few minutes on our own, and then we'll go into some group discussion again. friends online, please write your notions into the chat as well. And let's group up again. Find some new people to talk to. Meet some new faces this morning. All right, friends, if we can come back into the room again. And again, with the big room, what has burst forward that we need to hear right now, right in this moment?
I think the thing that struck me in this group was someone mentioned when a new person comes, they use a green cup in coffee hour, but after they don't use the green cup, they use the white cup. Then are they still important?
I'm Mary Beth Hoffman, and I'm a returning visitor, and I'm going to be radical and just share my own statement that leads off of that. And what I wrote, because I think it's important perhaps for you to know. I wrote, UU Berks will provide an insatiable welcome to new and returning visitors far beyond green cups. When you think you've done enough, it is not enough. Do you want to share from the group?
When nobody judges you for what you wear, what you do, and what you believe in.
When we are seen, heard, and embraced as enough, as worthy, as cared for, especially by being called by name and looked in the eye.
When systems of inclusivity are in place and advertised.
Okay. Being given the opportunity to and encouraged to help out and to find your niche, your place within the community.
People listening, not to answer, but to understand.
This sort of goes off of what someone else said about just being said hello to. It feels really welcoming when someone looks at you and says, "Hi, how are you doing?"
If we can pass those cards towards the center aisles again, we'll collect and sing just the first verse again.
When the winds around you blow, take my hand. When the raging waters flow, I'll help you to land, and we'll go together into that great unknown, shelter for each other, compassion as our hope, and we'll be known by our love. Yes, we'll be known by our love. Oh, we'll be known by our love. Yes, we'll be known by our love.
So now we have an idea of who we want to be, and we've talked a bit about how we know what it feels like to belong to something. And now we're going to get to the big question. We're going to get to the heart of a covenant. A community that we call beloved can only be built on trust. And yeah, feel the weight of that word for a moment, trust. The beloved community is built on trust that love stays at the center of all we do. A trust that our fragile, fallible selves will be handled with care. Trust that our relationships within this community matter and are treated as precious. And it is true that trust is something that takes time to build. It is not an instant switch. But somewhere deep down, we each have an idea of what makes trust possible for us, of what we need from one another in order to be able to trust one another. Our covenant cannot impose trust on the community, but it can assume trust as its outcome. And it can point the way towards it. And it can maybe even give us some tools to work towards it. My current favorite, in the words of the great theologian Ted Lasso, be curious, not judgmental. How about that for a start? So think now for a moment, what has led me to trust someone else before? And ponder this. What do I need to trust my heart to this community? What do I need to trust my heart to this community? Take a few minutes and then we'll do some group discussion again. And again, friends, find some new faces to talk to, and let's share some of what's coming up here. All right, friends, one last time, let's come back into the room. And tell us what's bubbling up here? What needs to be said in this room right now?
I figured, this might just go without saying at this point, but I think given the world we live in, for me, an absolute baseline is safety and accountability on a structural level. That if there were bad actors, there are so many people in the world right now, many in leadership politically, that are committing so much harm on so many people, and there's no accountability. They're not being punished, they're not being kicked out of, it's a problem. So I need to know, especially as a woman, and I know friends with children, that if bad actors were to come into this church and try to perpetuate harm on other people, that leadership would take that seriously, act swiftly, and protect the members. So I have to feel that before I can get into interpersonal trust.
There are 5 of us in this little group, and we boiled down everything we had to say to kindness. We all agreed that we can't trust people who are not kind, and that is our touchstone.
But to go along with kindness, ours was like authenticity and honest, real answers to things. A trust that people will be honest with us.
Yeah, sorry, I'm taking advantage of being the person holding the mic. There's a difference between being nice and kind, right? Yeah.
It is my pleasure to share from our digital guests who are here joining us and having conversations in their own little rooms. We had one little posit from the group. Trust develops when we share with each other through listening, supporting each other, showing love, being involved with each other as we support our community.
Amongst us, we felt prioritizing church, committing to being here and reaping all the benefits that brings. Just we all have other things to do sometimes on Sunday, but as much maybe up the priority a little bit, maybe to come that one time you might not for some reason. Try to be here. Try to be here so that you have every opportunity to know people more deeply here and to act out our values that are dear to us and act in a way consistent with those values.
I apologize to speak again, but what I had said was, number one, I like hugs. Hugs are nice. But more importantly, knowing that I will remain just as loved even when I change my mind or my belief.
I just have a question. As a former Zoom member with this church, I'm wondering if there's a way to incorporate the feedback from the people on Zoom so they feel like a vital part of this community.
For this exercise?
Yes, we are collecting all of that, and it's all going into the pile. All right, well, let's sing one last time. We're running long, and you're still here, and I love you for it.
It's going to be verse 2 of We'll Be Known by Our Love.
And I'd like to invite up now Sage and Nathan and Jean and Jane and Martin in the back, if you would all come on up. Friends, these are the members of your covenant team who I've been working with since last spring to get us to this day and everything we're going to do beyond that. We have a big job now, and talking about trust, I want to make sure that we are instilling our trust in them as we take everything that you have given us with a sense of love and open-mindedness and craft something special out of it. And so these members have committed to making our covenant possible and have worked faithfully to get us to this gathering day. Now they embark on the next step of distilling your contributions into a first draft of our covenant statement. And so I ask, do you, the members and friends of the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Berks County, entrust these people with the hopes and promises expressed today so that they might continue the work of crafting our covenant? Will you approach their work with curiosity and compassion, knowing that these first steps will not be perfect? And will you, the members of the covenant team, honor the spirit of the intention of this congregation's offerings as you engage the work ahead and engage in good faith with this task? Then I charge us all to continue the work of covenanting in good faith, that we might move together towards the beloved community. Amen. As a community of faith, we share what we can with one another. We offer ourselves through the ministries of this church by giving to and receiving from one another. One of those gifts is our financial resources. Your financial generosity makes it possible for us to live out our principles in our church and beyond our doors, keeping hope and courage and forgiveness and compassion alive. You may make your financial contribution online through the Giving app or in the baskets as they pass by in the sanctuary this morning. The offering will now be accepted. May what you give bring you joy and a deeper relationship with this community. Bear with us now for the announcements. We still have a few to get through. First up, after service next week, we're having a brunch, so come join us for that. That is the one we postponed because of the snow day in February, so join us for that. And then if you haven't had your fill of eating at church, this Thursday is going to be the first of what I'm calling Takeout Thursdays. Come grab your takeout meal, join me in the Gerber room, hang out and chat, no agendas whatsoever, just a chance to be together, not on a Sunday. We'll see how that goes. Next Saturday is the No Kings Rally. We will be meeting as a church, those of us who are going, at the Tompkins Community Bank on Rockland Street between 13th and 11th Streets. That starts at noon. Your pledge cards are due next Sunday. They must be in by next Sunday so we can make some plans, or Randy is going to knock on your doors and stand over you until you fill them out.
Just a real quick correction on the back of the order of service. It says if you want to be involved with immigration justice, fighting the detention center, and getting our county commissioners to end collaboration with ICE, it's g.immigration.justice. Or you can just email me directly or just tell me. And Singing Resistance is having a rehearsal tonight from 6 to 8, and they're going to be making signs.
Jim.
No, it's me.
It's you, okay.
It's odd. I'm behind the curtain here. I'm the Wizard of Oz. Just as crafting this covenant and deciding how we want to be with each other, and there's other times that are important to the church, and one is the service auction, which is Saturday, April 11th. It begins at 5. This is a great time. It's really important to the church. This is where we raise significant funds and have a lot of fun together. So I wanted to make sure this is on your radar and you know some other information about that. Here we go. The service auction is what it's called, right? If you know about it, there's services that are offered. Someone might bake bread for you, or cook a meal for you, or do yard work for you. There's items that will be auctioned off, so there's the auction part of it. Service auction. It's such a boring term, my gosh. What it really is it's a party, yay! Woo! It is a party, so put it on your calendar and get there, please, all right? Right now, what's available to you is in the Univoice. If you were to go into this week's Univoice, find the piece with this beautiful icon for the auction, click on the link. It takes you to the website for the auction, and there's the thermometer for fundraising, which you have to have. But also, let's see, up at the top, there is a menu bar, and there is a place to go and get donation ideas. I won't read through all these, but there's lots of ideas there if you don't have one for yourself. And then when you do have an idea, you can go in here and fill out a couple of panels about information about what you're going to do. It's not hard at all to do. Just follow the instructions. And there's some places to get your questions answered as well. Oh, and register. So you need to register because some of the transactions will be credit card based, and there's a service that provides all that, and you can be confident that your information will be protected, and there's information about that. But we need you to register if you're going to be here and be part of it. All right, so this is really important. All right, and so this will be up when we finish here in a few moments. If you're the kind of person really savvy and you want to use this QR code, you can get to that website that way. And also coming this week, whoa, look at those graphics. An email blast will be coming from Melissa that's going to have a sign-up genius for food prep and cleanup donations, because we do need people to chip in. And again, there will be another link to the main auction website that I just showed you. Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you there.
And now please rise in body and or spirit and join in one verse of our closing hymn, number 1014.
One verse. First verse. Here we go. The text is slightly different for the chorus than the book, but most 3/4 of the book is good. I'll guide our way. The promise of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love abide. And so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is all good. We are answering the call of love. We are answering the call of love. And
Friends, may life bless us and keep us, the light of life shine upon us and out from within us, and be gracious to us and bring us peace. For this is the day, this is the one wild and precious life we have all been given. So let us all find a way to love fearlessly, to be a beacon to the world, to be kind and curious with one another, to be accountable to one another, to covenant together, to rejoice and be glad in it. Go in peace.